Good evening, welcome to the latest live edition of Last Bowl Boxing, joined by regulars Andy. Good evening.
Evening, buddy.
And Daz, how you going, Daz?
All right, mate, you?
All good, all good. So obviously quite a bit of boxing over the last weekend gone, and we got some cards coming up. So we'll jump straight into it, Andy. So I'll hand it over to you to start taking us through last weekend's boxing.
Okay then, mate. So got quite a mixed bag. Like Cole just said, we'll talk about last weekend's card. We'll talk about this one coming up on Friday at your call. And then there's a few other bits and bobs. Obviously, Taylor Lopez and a few little topics from the boxing world that I wouldn't mind covering as well. So comments in the sidebar as always, guys. Carl will drop the link for anybody that wants to join us. And if you've got any topics you'd like us to talk about and cover, please put them in the sidebar and we'll pick them up. So we'll jump straight in to the DAZN card from last weekend. Sonny Edwards' debut on DAZN and with new promoter Matchroom. And quite a good card, 3 world title fights. We'll jump straight in. We'll miss a few of the fights out. We'll go straight in with what was meant to be a difficult fight for Johnny Fisher. That ended up being nothing like. I'll come to you, Daz. What good is that for Johnny Fisher?
Who said it was going to be difficult?
Well, that's the way it was being fun.
I'd have put my house on. I'd have put my house on. It wouldn't have gone around.
Yeah, apparently it was a step up, Daz.
Yeah, I mean, listen, the fact that Johnny Fisher was chief support to Sonny Edwards says a lot more about how many tickets he sells than anything else. And to be fair, mate, there are a lot more deserving fights on that show that deserve to be chief support.
You got 2 world title fights to begin with.
The thing that made me smile was, I don't know if you've ever watched it, but Matchroom put a mic'd up clips out on YouTube. And Tibbs was on. You can hear Tibbs talking to Johnny Fisher's old man, where he's saying we wanted to prop him up a little bit more and get a few more rounds out of him. That's not a great look, is it,
mate? When you start doing that with opponents, there's 2 things with that alarm me. When you start propping somebody up who's ready to be taken out, the more time they spend in that ring on their feet is the more time that they can catch you with something and knock you out. And also, more alarmingly, if you've got to prop somebody up, mate, they shouldn't be in the ring with you in the first place.
Yeah, just match make better. Get him a better opponent.
Yeah. Someone who's going to set him a few problems. You know, slip his shots, maybe show him a few angles. I'm not saying he has to go in with killers. Listen, this bit of criticism, let's be right, is not Johnny Fisher's fault.
No,
it's not. No.
Not at all, right? Not Johnny Fisher's fault at all. But he's in danger of becoming more famous for his dad eating curries and saying Bosh on social media than actually.
Dad is probably a little bit better than Eddie Hearn thought he was. If Eddie
Hearn, listen. I totally agree. Second that, mate, he's a game kid. He's fit. He obviously trains hard. He seems like he can punch. He seems like a really nice fella as well. Seems, and his dad does as well. It's not.
He does.
It's not a dig at his dad either. It's just, if you want to be taken serious, you've got to do serious things. Do you know what I mean? It's like this as well. These sort of fights are not going to prepare him for the big test to come. Listen, let's have a bit of adversity. What is he? 8-0?
9-0 now.
9-0. Listen, let's have a bit of adversity. Let's have him set. Look, at the end of the day, mate, it's not as though he's having last-minute opponents either, is it?
No.
These opponents he's got are locked in. So he's got a good month and a half, 2 months to know he's fighting. So listen, your trainer should be preparing you for these things. Do you know what I mean?
Hearn has said, this is his last 8 rounds. He's going to step up to 10 rounds now.
But it's all right having the last 8 rounder. He only went 1.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, you need someone who's. He needs. We can listen. We can all. We can say, oh look, let's do 10 rounds. Let's step up, right? But you need to be doing. I'm not saying necessarily need to be doing the full 10, but you need to be prepared to do the full 10, and you need to be. He needs opponents who are going to take him into the middle rounds for me.
And there's enough of them around, isn't there, Daz? Let's be honest. There's
course
enough
there is,
English,
mate.
British level.
Yeah, of course there is some tough kids, mate.
He'd have got. You're right there, Carl. He'd have got better work from an English heavyweight off the small all scene that would have took him 4, maybe 5 rounds.
I bet he's had harder sparring.
Of course he has. Of course he has.
Oh,
Let's
Daz.
have it right. In the past, they used to wheel Sam Sexton out, didn't they, now and again, to give someone a few rounds, you know, and
Yeah.
people of that ilk, where you knew there was never going to go to European world level,
Yeah.
but you was going to get some rounds out of him.
Yeah. Mate, I've heard people commenting, calling for him fighting Dave Allen. It's like, what?
Well, Eddie Earns just says that Dave Allen's been sent an offer from Fraser Clark for his next fight.
I mean, listen, Dave's got experience, so that can count for a lot. He's
Dave's
obviously
going to last rounds. We've just said
Yeah.
it about small all
Yeah.
scene fighters. Dave's going to last
Yeah.
rounds. Whether you think he's capable of hanging with these guys anymore, well, time will tell. Because he once was.
We'll see. Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, we'll have to
It's
see
a
what
good
No,
name on the resume, though, isn't it?
Yeah, but then it's a case that you see Dave's talking about wanting to fight for British title and stuff. So does he really want to be fighting Fraser Clark? But saying that, you fight Fraser Clark and then you beat Fraser Clark, you deserve to fight for British title. And I think it could be same for Fraser Clark. You beat Dave, yeah, you deserve to fight for British title.
See, I'm not buying this narrative about Fraser Clark, about them pulling him out of the British title fight because he needed more experience. He was amateur for how many years?
They didn't want to lose the zone, did they? He didn't want to lose a purse to the zone. That's the truth of it.
I don't think it's Fraser Clark's fault, no matter what. I think Fraser Clark will get in with Fabio Wardley tomorrow.
And let's be honest, you haven't really got time to hang around, has he, Daz?
No.
Evening to Imran and Joe in the sidebar. Imran said Dave Allen doesn't throw punches. Joe's said Fisher should have been in for the arena belt.
Area belt.
Sorry, the area belt by now. Earn's just using him to sell tickets. They don't give the fighters that are on those shows. They don't give him area title fights, mate. That just don't happen.
It's always international title fights.
Always internationals.
Title fights.
Yeah.
Which is, I don't agree with, to be fair. It's all right.
I think he's doing similar to what he did with Sam Eggington, where he thought he was just a decent ticket seller and a decent boxer to watch. And then he realised Eggington's a little bit better than he thought he was. So he got that little bit of a promotional push. And I see similarities with this, where Johnny was just a ticket seller. Yeah. But now I think Eddie thinks he might have a little bit more talent than he originally thought.
Yeah.
And I'll say, Carl, he's improved massive amounts in
those things. Tibbs has done a good job.
Yeah, he has. Okay. Swiftly moving on then to the first of the world title fights, which I couldn't believe was the first fight on the live show. It beggars belief. Nene Hughes, Katie Ely, WBA World Bantamweight title. Obviously, Ebony Bridges was sat in commentary, watching the fight go off because there's a very good chance that could happen next. So it was really interesting to see.
Not happen next.
It might. Well,
no.
Ebony
Bridges, mate, he's not going to have the layoff she's had with the injury and then jump straight in with Nene Hughes.
Why has she gone to Dave Coldwell? Do we know? Is it just the fact of him being up north?
She's I mean, obviously, you know that obviously Nick's best friends with her, so you know I hear things. But yeah, she's moving up north. She's got a lot of friends up here, so she's moved up here and she's had a session or two with Dave, and she likes what she saw.
Yeah, that's what she put out. She put out that there's no beef or anything. She just wants to move up north.
No, she's had a session or two with Dave, and
was it just that she was feeling a bit? I know it's only down the road, mate, but was she feeling a bit lonely down there every night?
down
in London.
I don't know, mate. To be fair, but I think most of her friends are from up here.
Yeah.
Obviously, she's close. You know, she's close with Nick. She stays at Nick's house.
Yeah.
So you know, and plus she's got other friends. I mean, and I think she just thought, you know, she's moving up here, and she's obviously checked trainers out, and she likes what she sees with Dave.
Seeing as though we're on that subject, I was going to approach it later on, but seeing as though we're talking about it, Carl, completely different style trainers. So you're getting something completely different from Dave Caldwell than you were getting down.
I think she likes variety, don't she? Because if you think about it, she went over to America to train, didn't she? And then she jumped around a little bit in the UK. So I think she's up for learning, isn't she? She's very keen to remain at the top.
Mate, she's a very, very, very clever woman.
Yeah.
Very. She's very, very, very intelligent. Very.
And she's been with Mark Tibbs. Been with Tibbs a while. Probably got, with all due respect, probably got his style of training and got everything she could out of that setup. And sometimes it changes as good as the rest.
I just think it's purely because she's moved up here, mate.
Yeah.
And nothing to do with Mark. I think it's just.
To be fair, she don't mince the words, does she? And she came out and just said, "Look, it's all about north and south, and I want to go back north."
Yeah.
So.
I mean, listen, Dave's a good trainer. Dave knows his stuff. He's a good trainer. So I hope it works out for her.
Okay, so yeah, talk back to the fight then.
Yeah, I don't. As I was saying, sorry, mate. I just don't think that. It's in fact I'd be shocked, mate. I'd be amazed if it happened next. Ebony's been out of the ring with an injury.
Yeah, I know, mate. The only reason
and it'd be unfair. I think it'd be unfair for Eddie Hearn to not allow her to have a defense.
She's got guts, so hasn't she? I won't put it past her.
Yeah, but she's saying herself she wants a comeback fight.
Yeah, I mean, what I meant is. She might have a comeback fight in the next couple of months, maybe.
Yeah.
Depending on,
and then it'll happen.
Depending on how fit she is now, it might even be a bit sooner than that. They might chuck her on undercard of the show fairly soon. But the next big one is likely to be Nina Hughes, and the reason I'm saying that is because the other two belt holders, that fight's just been made.
Torsland and can't remember her name, but yeah, Torsland and
that fight's just been made.
Fight. I like Nina Hughes versus Bridge. I like that fight.
Yeah. This fight is obviously it's like two semi-finals and a final, isn't it?
Yeah, listen, mate.
By this time next year, we could have an undisputed champion.
I've seen a lot of people. I mean, listen, I like Nina Hughes. Nina Hughes is good fighter, but Ebony's tough. I mean, ridiculously strong, and just super fit and game as anything.
I'm gonna stick my neck out and say I wasn't overly impressed with Nina Hughes. I've got to be honest.
What at the weekend?
No, I wasn't overly impressed.
No.
She got it way too much for me. Ebony Bridges bangs, and if she gets it like that off Ebony Bridges
gets it as well though.
Yeah, but she's tough, Cole. Bridges takes it.
I think Hughes is tough. I'm just playing devil's advocate.
Yeah. No, of course. But
well, Ebony's. I mean, the conversations I've had with Nick, obviously, regarding Ebony. Ebony's opinion is the hardest she's ever been hit off anyone is Shannon Courtney. She said Shannon Courtney punches like a train.
Right.
But in next breath, it's like. Yeah, it didn't really bother me though. I got an eye injury, but so what?
I know, yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So it says it. You know what I mean? I just think she'd be too strong, mate. I just think she'd be too
I
strong
agree.
for her.
I agree. But it'd be a good fight. It'd be a good scrap. I think Cole's right. It'd be a good scrap because they both come forward fighters.
Yeah,
they're not going to take a back step. Got to respect where Nina Users come from, though, haven't you? You know, she made it so far, didn't quite make the Olympic squad. She ended up having to go back and lick her wounds a little bit and build herself up from nothing.
She had a bit of time off, didn't she? She had a child, and yeah, she's done well, mate.
They both had to fight their way to the top, and that's why I think it'll be at Humdinger, because neither of them are going to want to start slipping back down that rankings.
No.
Okay.
Definitely.
Okay, moving on then to what I was hoping was going to be a barnstormer. It didn't really end up like that. Chev Clark against David Jameson. I thought Jameson was going to be a damn sight tougher than this, but maybe that shows you just how hard Chev Clark punches.
Yeah, welcome to the party, Chev Clark.
Yeah, I mean,
I've been quite critical about him, but I've got to admit that was a very good performance at the weekend.
And he's so laid back into it. It's like nothing phases him. He's in there and he's laughing half the time he's getting punched. I think he's really dangerous for that division. He's got a long way to go. Yeah, that only makes him 6-0, but he's got a really good amateur background. He's got a really good amateur background. I think he can be pushing for titles pretty soon. I think he's that good. He's not going to be fighting for world titles any time in the next year or so, but he could definitely be pushing for Europeans. What do you think on that one, Daz?
Yeah, mate. I do like Siobhan Clark, mate. I do like him. He's a good fighter. You know, and yeah, needs to be pushing on from that victory, mate. Needs to be building on it. Definitely.
Yeah. Okay, moving on to the second female world title fight of the night. Great fight, this. Shanika Johnson defended her IBF super bantamweight title against Ellie Scotney. Well, what a fight this was, lads. Cole, did you manage to see this whole fight?
No.
You saw it though, didn't you, Daz?
Yes, mate. I watched it. Yeah.
Break down Scotney's performance in this fight for us.
Too good in every department. Deserving world champion, going on to bigger and better fights. Just
absolutely
did what Ellie Scotney does, you know, and did it well.
And I'm gonna say something that Carl probably ain't gonna agree with, but you've got to you can't ignore the fact that Shane McGuigan's now had 5-6 world champions since he's been a trainer. I mean, Carl, I know you're not a massive fan, but surely you've got to start believing this fella's a bona fide top end trainer.
Yeah, I mean, I've never said he's not. I just don't think he's elite. That's my thoughts, and I'd still like to know why he loses fighters like he does. So there's that question mark over him for me. But yeah, you can't take away his achievements.
Do you know my opinion on it is? I think he loses fighters for issues outside of the ring.
Yeah, I'd probably agree.
I don't think fighters leave him because they think he's not up to the job. However, he's a very good trainer. Same as Ben Davison, very good trainer. There's endless amounts of them. But you got to look at him with Ellie Scotney and look at her pedigree. You know, she was Team GB, which I believe. You know, yeah, listen, you can add things to fighters, you know, and that takes some skill in itself to get someone who's already very good.
But they're not bad foundations, are they?
Yeah, exactly, mate. And listen, I hold my hands up, mate. I'm doing the same thing with Nicola. I've had good foundations. I've got stuff to build on. Do you know what I mean? And it makes the job a damn sight easier. I'm not taking anything away from Shane, Ben Davison, anybody like that. Even Dave Caldwell. I'm not taking anything away from him. But when you're talking elite, you've got to put people like Brendan Ingle in that. He had kids from 7 years old.
Yeah, but that doesn't happen in modern boxing, does? How many elite trainers?
No, I don't. I'm not bothered. I'm not bothered whether it happens. That's how it should be. We can all listen. I could train Tyson Fury, mate.
I know. I get that. I understand that. I know you could.
Does that make me an elite trainer?
It does if you keep Tyson Fury winning the heavyweight belt, of course.
But if Tyson Fury just does what Tyson Fury does, and he keeps winning, then listen. There's different perspectives on things, isn't there?
Daz, who's the best young trainer in your view at the minute?
Best young trainer.
All right, the best British trainer. Let's say out of the McGuigans, Davison, Tibbs. Who do you put top of the tree?
Out of them, I think Shane.
Yeah, I lean toward Ben Davison.
See, I don't. I lean towards Shane. I'll lean towards Shane, and yeah, Ben. Listen, Ben. He knows his stuff, sort of thing. But it's, I don't know. There's just some things I'm not going to go into on here. That
no worries.
I think Shane's all-round boxing brain and knowledge is, listen, that's my opinion. Well, obviously, Mark Tibbs is a very good trainer.
Is that Shane McGuigan on the phone now? Not agreeing.
No.
Tell him I'm sorry, but Ben's still a better trainer.
I think when it comes, I appreciate what Daz is saying, that the best trainers down the years have had boxers from kids, here and in the States, but that's not the way modern boxing works.
What would you blame for that? Would you blame the amateur code?
Yeah.
For that?
Yeah. The amateur code's completely different now, and you don't often see amateur gyms in line with elite gyms anymore.
Well, I can tell you now that some fighters who are in the spotlight now, who are being touted for massive things, didn't start with the trainers that they're with now.
No, that's the kind of points I'm making.
Yeah, and there was proper grounded and taught by certain individuals.
Yeah.
I'll probably surprise you if I told you.
A lot of the trainers deserve the credit. Are unsung heroes, aren't they? Who are doing it for nothing in local gyms. They learn the fundamentals.
The point I'm kind of making is it's not the same as it was 20 years ago.
No, of course it's not.
You can't, and I don't think it's fair to hold that against the modern day trainer, because they are what they are.
Yeah,
they train elite level fighters. They get elite level fighters winning world titles. And some have been brought through the ranks a little bit. Chris Billam-Smith is a good example. Shane's done amazing jobs with Chris Billam-Smith.
Yeah, definitely.
You can say the same with Ben Davison and Lee Wood. Just to answer Lee Brown, who thinks I'm biased again.
No, listen, I totally agree. I totally agree, right? But Ben Davison didn't give Lee his fundamentals.
No. But what I'm talking about, but what level was his
mindset? He's changed his mindset, and he's added things to him.
And he's
brilliant job.
He's gave him game plans and drilled him in game plans to win fights against fighters that half of the country didn't think Lee could beat.
Yeah, but
But let's be honest, with these
listen, it's not-
trainers, with the trainers we're talking about, Daz, none of these trainers gave any of their fighters a fundamental because they've learnt that back in the gym, in the local gym with the local trainers.
yeah,
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. About the an amateur, the amateur gyms being completely separate from elite professional gyms now. You don't see it. It's very, very rare that you see a gym in line, an amateur gym in line with a professional gym, all the fighters training together. It just doesn't happen.
yeah. I mean, one thing I've never really agreed on is when you get like very good amateurs and they go to England, or in fact, not even England boxing, they go to Yorkshire, and then they're coached by somebody else in corner, you know, and I don't agree with that. I really don't. I know it's the way of amateur boxing, but I just don't agree with that at all. You know what I mean? You train somebody, you know how they tick, you know how they work, you know what works for them, what doesn't. You know, why are you not, you know, I don't know, mate. It's just you can look at it from all perspectives. But yeah, listen, I'm not for 1 minute saying that all those that have been mentioned aren't good and, you know, and they know what they're doing. I just think the job's sometimes made a little bit easier when you've got a, you know, an established fighter.
Yeah, I agree. I will just say one more thing in Shane McGuigan's defence, and that is he's a really young trainer that's had what 5-6 world champions. Name me another trainer that's around right now that's had that many world champions.
What, in England?
Yeah,
There isn't.
that's my point.
Yeah, there isn't.
That's my point.
But had them fighters gone to Ben Davison, they'd have been world champions still.
You can't say that.
No, but they would.
They're not with Ben Davison. They're with
No,
Shane
but they
McGuigan.
would. No, but they would.
I don't think it's as simple as that anyway when you're judging trainers because it's all about the journey, about what he had to do to get him to be a world title.
Yeah. I mean, if I mean,
Okay, all right. Let's judge that then, Cole. So we had Cole Frampton from amateurs when he turned pro.
I'm on about the skill set that's already there, though.
Oh, but what I'm saying is you just talked about the journey, so I'm going to talk about the journey. Yeah, Cole Frampton from amateurs and took him to world champion. Josh Taylor took him to world champion from his pro debut. Yeah, the one you can argue.
Yeah, but
is
Josh
George
Taylor, you can't say that Josh Taylor was a
not as simple
novice.
as that.
I'm not saying he was a novice.
Josh Taylor was
I'm not saying that, but I'm saying he's took him from his pro debut to world champion.
Yeah. I mean,
They've done the same with Frampton.
The thing is, amateur boxing, and this probably is a bit of a point. Amateur boxing at that level, at Olympic level, is sort of like it's close-ish to professional boxing.
Yeah.
You know, lack of head guards, you know. So it's a lot more closer, you know. I think the transition was harder when they had head guards and it, you know, and stuff like that. But the transitions, listen, I mean, my point is, listen, they're all very, very, very good trainers. So I give props to all of them. They're all very, very good trainers. You know, and yeah, I totally agree with what you're saying. Boxing's not like it was. It's very rare that you'll get a 7-year-old walking into the gym and then on his pro debut, from being an amateur for 10, 11, 12 years, he'll be with the same trainer. It's a sad state. It's
difficult to judge, Dad, isn't it? It's difficult to judge because you got Frampton, who I'd argue is almost a ready-made world champion when he walks into McGuigan.
Yeah.
But then you got Lee Wood, who's in the wilderness when he walked into Ben Davison, let's be honest.
Yeah.
So which one's a more difficult coaching role?
If I'm honest,
I'm not saying one or the other, but I'm saying it's very difficult to start comparing them two journeys.
Does Shane? Can I just answer that? Right? Yeah, Shane McGuigan would have took Johnny Nelson to be a world champion, and I'll tell you why. Because all it was with Johnny was about unlocking his confidence. I spent time in gym with Johnny. I saw what Johnny were capable of.
Yeah.
No, Johnny's problem wasn't physical, it was mental. soon as Johnny started to believe in himself, he was a monster. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, it does.
And that's another journey, isn't it? That's where he's going to the Eastern Bloc to be sparring partners for God knows who else. And then all of a sudden the mindset changed. You know, it was really in the wilderness, wasn't he, Johnny Nelson?
Listen, he stunk the place out in his first world title shot, but Brendan knew. Johnny will tell you himself. You know, when he first walked into Brendan's and he was doing footwork, I think he says this, he fell over his own feet. You know what I mean? And look what he went on to do. And do you know what? That question, Phil, Ben Davison probably would have taken him to a world title as well. You know, Mark Tibbs probably would as well. He always had it in him. It's just about unlocking it. Do you know what I mean? Finding that way in. And that's what it's about as a trainer, I think. Most of it is mental. We all know how to train people to win a fight. I mean, listen, Ben, he's not invented the wheel where he wanted Lee to box Lara. You know, we all pretty much said that was the way to do it, wasn't it?
The only way he could win. Let's be honest.
Yes, we all pretty much saying that's the way to do it. However, it's giving him the mental strength, the mental confidence to believe that he can do it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah, listen, I'm sure Ben would have had a backup plan if in case that wasn't going the way it was.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's what you unlock, what you unlock mentally. Do you know what I mean?
Okay, guys. Okay, I think we've done that one to death. Good topic though. I think we'll have to readdress that topic in a few weeks when we've got a slow show and talk about trainers. Moving on to the headliner, which I'm going to be honest here. I've been really pushing Sonny Edwards and his style and I think I put a tweet out saying,
before you talk about me, I can't believe you've not spoke about a fight.
Which one?
Well, which?
Well, you tell me.
For me being on here, have you not spoke about Shannon Ryan?
Oh, sorry. Sorry, mate. Okay, let's do that one first then. Shannon Ryan against Martina Benil. So, Daz is obviously talking about this because he has a fighter in the same weight category as Shannon, and very interesting. This, I think Shannon Ryan is an absolute monster at this weight, mate. And she boxed out of her skin. She was brilliant. I don't think she put a foot wrong in the fight. Now, I'm not saying she had an opponent that was tricky because I don't think she was. I think she was there to be hit. But the shot selection, the foot movement, the head movement, the power, Shannon Ryan, mate, in my opinion, has got absolutely everything to become world champion. Over to you.
What do you want to know? You ask me go on. You'll fire the questions and I'll answer.
Okay, so what was your impression of the fight? What did you think of Shannon?
I was very impressed. I was very impressed with Shannon. Very impressed with her. But also, I dig deep into things like that.
Yeah, I was going to say that. Let me ask you a proper question. How do you beat her?
Let me just tell you everything, and then I'll tell you. Obviously, I'll answer that one. I dig deep into things. I don't look at it on face value because on face value, that fight, I wouldn't put Anthony Joshua in with her. So if I'm looking at it on face value, she were very, very good. However, she's fought a natural flyweight and she's fought someone very limited. No variety in shots. Basically there to be picked apart. Now, she picked her apart. Good enough for a landslide points win. However, when there's nothing threatening going to be coming back, it's very easy to become comfortable.
God, you've not analysed this fight, have you?
Nah. The thing is, let's imagine, right? and by no means am I saying it'd be easy because I've had conversations on this. But let's imagine Nicola in opposite corner, footing that jab into her because she's taller, longer, footing that jab into her, stepping off, giving her angles. Mate, who's this real killer, really? You know,
Give him Carl. Don't even give him the time of day.
basically Nicola, you know, footing that jab into her, giving her angles, and if she walks into something, it's going to be something hard. Do you know what I mean? Different set of problems, massively different set of problems. There's a big difference between Nick. Listen, you've seen Nicola fight enough, and I'll go on record now. No matter what happens, it'd be probably one of the hardest fighters Nicola will ever have. But you know, you can't. She'd have to change levels against Nicola, but she'd have to get past the jab, the right hand, the left hook, and figure out the footwork because Nicola will be giving her angles. Massive set of problems. And listen, if she did get through it, I'd be the first one to go in the dressing room and congratulate her. But you can't. You're not going to walk Nicola down like that and have your own way like that. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
I completely agree, mate.
Do you know what I mean? It's not going to happen. But you know, I'll back Nicola all the way in it. You know, give us a proper training camp, and yeah, let's see. But obviously, that's one for the future, I think. But yeah, I was impressed with Shannon though. I'll say that. I actually said to her as well. I pinged her on Instagram and said, you know, listen, as someone who probably is going to end up in opposite corner to you at some point, that was very impressive how you went about your work.
Am I missing something here? Because I've been listening to.
I don't know what's going off, mate. Yeah, I don't know.
No, I think Lee's got the wrong end of the stick. When you said don't give him the time of day to that real killer, I think Lee took it as you meant him. So just carry on. Lee, it wasn't aimed at you. It was aimed at somebody else.
Oh, okay. I don't know. This was obviously on the before the live show, Carl. So I'm guessing you didn't get to see this. You'd have been in town throwing a few down your neck at that point.
Right. I tell you
Allegedly.
what, I've given my opinion on Shannon and Nick. Let's have your two.
Well,
I didn't see the fight, Daz. So I'll have to give you my view next week. Okay, I'll watch it and I'll give you my view.
I watched the fight, and I think Shannon Ryan is very, very, very good. I know she was in against a poor opponent, but she has.
I don't think she was poor. I don't think she was poor.
Okay.
I'll tip me hat to the matchmakers.
Oh yeah, they did a very good job to make
very
Shannon
good
look
matchmaking.
But the point I'm making is Shannon's got all the shots. It was made easier for her to throw the shots and to land the shots to make
like world champions hitting the bag
to make it look good, right? My opinion of what would happen with her and Nick is we'd have an absolute barnstormer. Because it'd be a clash of styles. I'm not sure, mate. I'd like to see Shannon Ryan pushed a bit to see what she's got in the tank. Now I know from watching. I've been to the gym when Daz has put Nick through her paces. I've seen what Nick's capable of. She's as fit as any other boxer in boxing, in my opinion. Because she doesn't stop. And again, go for it, Lee. I'm biased, I know. And I don't care, to be honest, because I know what I'm talking about.
Unprofessional, I think the word.
Unprofessional, that's the one. Yeah, I don't care whether you think I'm biased on this one, because I've spent a lot of time in Nick's company. And there's nothing that she does now since she's been with Daz that makes me think that she's not capable of going on and winning a world title. Shannon, I agree with what Daz was saying. Shannon Ryan's the most difficult fight, and that includes the current world champions, in my opinion. Very, very tough fight.
I do
Could
think
go either way.
the Japanese girl would be a tough fight, the WBO champion.
She's very fit as well.
Yeah,
Makes a
she's
big
very
difference,
good.
don't it?
Yeah, it's
Don't
very
it?
good.
Yeah. But as for who wins, toss of a coin that at the minute, Carl. By the time they fight, because that's not going to happen for a good couple of years, I'm sure, if it happens at all.
Yeah,
Depends
I
on
mean,
absolutely.
yeah, I mean, thing is, I'm like this with it. I'll obviously look at Shannon, and she's short, quite stocky, skillful, but it's like on the last fight, she had it all her own way. You know, there was nothing. The girl was game and tough. You know, she was game and tough. Oh mate, what's on here? She was game and tough.
Daft Lad's just changed his name and come back on, hasn't he?
Yeah, there was
Jimmy the Daft Lad. See you, Jimmy the Daft Lad.
She was game and tough, but she didn't offer anything. You know, apart from being game and tough and a good record.
Imran thinks Shannon beats Nicola. Fair play, Imran, for having an opinion. It's fair enough.
Mate. Yeah, you know what, mate? I totally understand why you'd probably. I mean, I don't know if you've watched Nicola Imran or anything. I don't know if you've seen any of her fights.
I think he has, to be fair, Daz.
Yeah. Obviously, you've seen Shannon. I think what's the common opponent with Shannon and Nicola? Were it Ivanka?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you watch them fights back, and Nicola don't get out of first gear. Via Ivanka.
She don't get out of first gear, and she bashes up Ivanka without and she don't break a sweat by the end of the fight either.
No. And Ivanka told me afterwards that she basically at the weigh-in, she viewed Nicola as food. She said,
Styles mate fight.
Mate,
Styles mate fights, so Daz, right? You can't even go off that scenario, can you?
No, but I'm just saying that, you know, I'm just saying that it's like, you know, if we're good on opponents, Nicola did a better job, but you know, you can't go off that. But Ivanka's hittable as well, but she's game. But no, mate, a best chance, mate, is sooner rather than than later. To be fair, but I still think in a couple of years she probably would beat her anyway. But
let's hope she gets on them kind of platforms, Dad.
Yeah, right? I mean, Nicola's not an inexperienced girl. I mean, you've got to remember Nicola was on fringe of England, but the pathway sort of thing. Not obviously going to Olympics, but Nicola lost to Lisa Whiteside on a split decision in national finals.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean? The girl's like, listen, there's a girl who she spars with me at the minute called Ivy Jane Smith, mate. That girl's going to be a world champion. I'm telling you, she is something else. Do you know what I mean? And
is that out the Steel City gym?
Yes,
that I
mate.
keep seeing?
Yes, mate. Listen.
See, I do my research, not like Andy.
Yeah, there's not many who I look and think, yeah. Do you know what I mean? And here in Nick, I've spars, mate, that are worthy of paying for. Do you know what I mean? Nick's very good at adapting to certain situations, you know, if things aren't going quite right. So she'll adapt. I don't know, mate. I sort of get what you're saying, Imran. I really do. But my job's to pick holes in potential opponents. And if Shannon walks forward, if she's bobbing her head and Nick misses with first couple of jabs, there's the right hand, left hook, right uppercut. Nick can throw punches for days. Nick will not get tired.
Yeah.
And I will say that if it's over 10 rounds, I'll back Nick massively. I will back Nick massively over 10 rounds. over it.
If it's in a couple of years and it's for a world title, then it will be, won't it?
Yeah, I'll back Nick massively, mate. I'll back Nick massively against anybody over 10 rounds. Even if things aren't going great technically, her engine, mate, is literally ridiculous. No, mate, Imran, yeah, I agree with that, mate. Nicola hasn't got that push, but she's just going to let her fist do the talking.
Yeah, she'll get there one way or the other, Imran.
Yeah.
I'm very confident in that.
Yeah, she'll let her fist do the talking, mate.
She just isn't getting the limelight that she deserves at the minute. Okay, moving on.
Well, before we go, one more point on it is there's a lot of boxing people who I've spoke to about that fight. I'm not going to name any names, so I don't want to embarrass him, who have said that they could see happening in that fight if Shannon fought Nick, they could see it being a robbery.
Yeah, this is the problem.
It don't happen in boxing, does it?
This is the problem, isn't it? You know, there's always them opportunities, them possibilities. Yeah, especially if Nick's going into the dark side of
but do you know what though, mate? You know what? You know if Nick boxes her and boxes her head off for 8 rounds, 10 rounds, and gets ripped off. So what? That's not. We can't control that.
No.
Yeah.
She still comes out with.
Everyone will know it as well, guys. Everyone will know it as well, mate. So it is what it is.
Yeah, don't worry about things like that. Don't worry about things you can't control.
Right. Okay. I think we better move on. Time's going. The show. Headline is Sonny Edwards, Andres Campos. I was one. I think I put something out on Twitter saying, well, it was a question actually, rather than a statement, saying, "Is Sonny Edwards the best pound-for-pound fighter in the UK?" And a few people commented. I think you commented, Daz, and gave a few possibilities.
I gave...
the point I was making was, is there anyone else in the country that does what Sonny Edwards does? He's amazing. He's an amazing talker. He's amazing on social media. Don't care who he has an argument with. Isn't scared of anybody. Will step in with both world champions tomorrow. And fights the way he fights. Not many people that have got the mouth can back it up. Sonny Edwards does. That being said, I was just a little bit, disappointed with his performance of the night. And I'll tell you for why. I thought he was showboating a little bit too much. I know he likes to fight off the ropes, and he answers back off the ropes, and more often than not doesn't get hit, but he was getting hit way too much for me. If he does that against the 2 world champions, he's in trouble.
I don't think he would, though. I don't think he would.
I know he was having a good night, and
clever fighter, isn't he?
Very, very, very clever, and he's so unorthodox in his approach. I mean, he was sat ringside 2 or 3 fights before his fight.
I think he won an absolute canter, didn't he? Let's be honest.
He did, Cole. He did, but the point I'm making is he could have won the fight so much easier. He made the fight more competitive than it needed to be.
I think he was in danger of wanting to entertain because it was his first show on DAZN.
You've probably hit the nail on the head there, mate.
I don't think he loses a fight up to bantamweight.
No.
Not now he knew he's gone up to super bantam.
Well, let's hope he's got that out of his system, and now he switches on, and he fights the way he's fought for his last 18 fights.
He didn't respect this guy, did he? He didn't respect him, so he could take liberties with him. He said he was going to do it in the weigh-in. So I just think he just took absolute liberties. He'll be a lot more switched on against a Rodriguez or someone like that.
He beats Bam Rodriguez easy, and he beats Martinez in my
opinion. He'll be more switched on for them though.
Beats them all. The only threat to him up to bantam was Inoue.
Right, lads, Lee, Imran, you're clearly disagreeing on this point. Both of you get yourselves on the live. Let's see your opinions face to face. Come on. Drop the link for him, Carl. Carl, let's have your opinion on Sonny Edwards and his performance from the other night to begin with. While waiting for these two to jump on.
I just thought he won it an absolute canter. I watched the highlights back because obviously, like you've mentioned, I was having a few lemonades in town. So I watched it back Sunday morning. It was just what he said he was going to do on the tin, wasn't it? It was never in trouble one iota. And I just think he's that good. Yeah, he got hit a few times, but was he ever in trouble? He felt his power and he didn't have any. So yeah. I just think he's that good under.
Phil Waterman's put his only threat is himself.
Yeah,
which I kind of get. If he decides to switch off and take things a bit easy, that could be a danger with the next fights coming up. I don't think that's in his makeup though.
But he's already signed. Eddie Hearn said 100 times that he knows what number he wants for each of them world title fights, and he's signed a contract. He don't care where it is, as long as Eddie Hearn can hit that number in terms of the purse, he'll go.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he's just on another level that way.
Imran,
how's it going?
Are you joining us, Lee? Are you able to get on, mate? So while we're waiting for Lee, Imran, give us your opinion. I see in the sidebar you've put you think that Bam beats Sonny.
Yeah, I'm not entirely convinced by Edwards at this point. Like, he reminds me a little bit of Billy Joe. He's a good fighter. Don't get me wrong. He's got good skills. He's hard to hit, but I mean, we haven't really seen it against the top tier opposition. I know we beat that guy. That was undefeated.
That's why.
No, they will. But I don't think Rodriguez is afraid of Edwards, to be honest. I don't think he's that type of fighter. And he's more accomplished. Let's be honest. Look at the names that Rodriguez has beaten compared to what Sonny Edwards has beaten. I don't think he's like, if you're beating the guys that Rodriguez is beaten, I don't think he's going to be afraid to get in the
maybe
ring
Rodriguez, I'll give that in, man. But Martinez is well documented that he priced himself out of a fight, right?
Yeah, the thing is with Martinez, right? Martinez is he's not the greatest boxer in the world. You know what I mean? So like that, I can see why stylistically. But Rodriguez, I mean, that guy's dangerous. I mean, he's a good boxer. That's a very, very difficult fight for Edwards. You know, this style that he has, that hard to hit, that's good to a certain level. But those, like, Mayweather was the greatest. I mean, you couldn't hit him. Maidana find a way to get to him, right? Mayweather was the greatest defensive fighter ever. Maidana. See that again? Right? What? Close though, right?
That's
close. The levels between, I mean, when you look at Mayweather, right, and Maidana.
For one, Willie Pep will be going.
But what I mean is,
I get what
Mayweather is one of the greatest.
I'm just having a bit of a laugh, yeah. I get what you're saying.
So, like, I mean, when there's a fighter that wants to get to you, he'll get to you. And for me, Bam Rodriguez is that guy for Edwards. He will get to him. That style of showboating and stuff isn't going to work against Rodriguez, in my opinion. I think Rodriguez will find
the perfect example, Imran. The perfect example is Naz, isn't it?
Exactly. And by the way, guys, for me, and I've said this before, and I know Carl knows about this. I think Naz was I think he was overrated personally. Personally, I think he was. I do. I mean, let's be honest. When he fought, the best guys that he fought, Kevin Kelly, right? And what's it, Barrera beat him comfortably.
Barrera, I know was an animal though, Imran, right?
Yeah, okay. Hang on a sec.
I'll tell you a little story.
Hang on a sec. And then Kevin Kelly dropped him how many times? I mean, he went life and death with a Kelly that was kind of past his best. Kelly, that wasn't Kelly in his prime, and he dropped him so many times, right? And really, if you look at his level of competition, right? They were good fighters. Don't get me wrong. He beat world champions. They were good fighters. But I still think that if Nazim had fought Barrera at his best, he loses. And I think if Nazim at his best against Kelly, which was Kelly over the hill, I still think he struggles. Do you see what I mean? Like, I don't see it changes. Like, people, Naz at his best. Well, what's Naz at his best? What level of competition was he fighting that was comparable to Barrera at his best? There wasn't. So we can only go off him fighting Barrera and getting the breaks beat off him. He got battered in that fight. It wasn't even competitive.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
did.
he did.
So
But
the point
was
is,
it-
what are we basing that off?
What I mean, I know we can't really go on scores, but it wasn't that wide on scorecards, was it?
It was,
Yeah,
I think,
because
120, 108.
He got
120,
battered,
108.
Naz,
Right.
didn't he?
Guys,
It
you saw the
was-
fight,
was-
right?
Mate, yeah. I know the circumstances surrounding the fight as well.
Yeah,
With
I
Naz.
know a lot's been made of the fact that he
Yeah.
was no longer with the Ingle
Note
gym.
to do with that, mate. His preparation for that fight, mate. He shouldn't have even lasted 12 rounds.
Yeah, but who's to blame for that?
Yeah, himself. And I think if you asked him that, he'd say it. He's probably
With
got a lot
regards
of
to the Barrera
regrets.
fight, with regards to the Barrera fight, I don't think if Naz had been prime Naz, I don't think he'd beat Barrera.
I agree.
Barrera got the style. Barrera got the style to beat Naz. That was the old trick of that fight. And Naz just couldn't get away from him. The problem is Naz was such a great elusive fighter, and he used to wear fighters out. Fighters would be chasing him around the ring, and he'd wear them out before he knocked them out. Well, he was never going to do that against Barrera
What did you
because
say
Barrera.
scorecards were?
I think one of them was 120, 108. Was it?
No. There was two 115, 112s and one 116, 111. Nah, I don't judge much on whether. Listen, Barrera did win it handily for me. I think I had him winning by about five rounds or something. But Naz at his best, behind his jab, mate, was a totally different animal. And the punch power, mate, he carried, Barrera couldn't walk through that. Not a fit, proper fit motivated Naz. No featherweight in history could have walked through that power when properly trained and delivered properly. He just got reliant on it. He got reliant on that one big shot. And do you know
Lee Woodward spots him.
You are Ashley Wood.
Go.
When he
Go on, Lee. Go on. Nod with me, Lee. Nod with me. He'll
the thing
spot
with
you,
it-
wouldn't it?
the thing with Naz and a great fighter like Barrera is if Barrera sees a punch coming, he'll ride it.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it takes a lot of the sting out. Now, if Naz is popping jab, hitting you, throwing one shot, and then hitting you with a shot that you don't see, it's a totally different ball game with Naz. That. But listen,
Anyway, we're going off topic here.
Yeah.
Going off topic. Let's get back to
go on,
what we were
let's-
talking about.
Imran,
And the reason,
it's Imran V. Lee now.
the reason these two
Imran
monsters
Lee.
have just joined us on screen.
Ding ding, take the stage.
Right. Okay. Back to you, Imran. So
Yeah.
you don't think that Sonny Edwards beats Bam, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't.
Tell me how you think that fight pans out.
I think Edwards is he's gonna be trying to do what he always does, be elusive, and I just think Bam's gonna get to him. I think Bam's gonna walk him down. Sonny Edwards hasn't got no power. He hasn't got no power. I mean, Rodriguez is gonna walk straight to him. I think he's a good boxer as well. I think he's got more sting in his punches, and I think eventually Sonny Edwards will get worn down. I just don't think that style. I don't think that style with no punching power. Remember, Naz had power. He had a lot of power doing stuff like that. This guy hasn't got power, and I feel like I said with Billy Joe, right? You can do that at a certain level, but when you get in the ring with, and I'm not saying Rodriguez is Canelo, but when you get in the ring with somebody that's, in my opinion, a great fighter. Rodriguez is a great fighter. People go off one or two performances. I mean, what about the performances he had when he was underdog and he wiped those guys out? I mean, those guys were very accomplished fighters, and he wiped them out. And I think he's more accomplished out of the two. He's fought the better opposition, and I think when he gets in there, I think he will find a way. Also, I like Robert Garcia. I think he's a brilliant trainer. Look at what he did with Maidana. He turned that guy into an absolute animal, and he trains fighters. This is why I think I don't want to go off topic, but yeah, basically, I think he's with a great trainer as well. So for me, Bam Rodriguez and Robert Garcia, that is a dangerous combination, because I think he's the mold of fighter that Robert Garcia turns into a beast. So yeah, I don't think Edwards wins that fight.
And for the defence,
Well, first and foremost, I rate Bam Rodriguez. He's a great fighter, I do. But I just think at that weight, I think it's a game of chess. You talking about power, I don't think that matters too much. I think Sonny's too clever. I think he's a very, very astute, clever boxer. He's quite happy for Bam to chase him around the ring for 12 rounds. He'll pick him off, he'll catch him in moments, and he'll adapt. Whereas I think Bam Rodriguez, if a few rounds don't go his way, I think he's quite the sort of boxer that would get frustrated, that would chase a fight. He's got that in him. And I think Sonny Edwards will just adapt. I honestly don't see anyone in that weight category beating Sonny Edwards on his night. And there's some very good fighters at that weight. But I just think, and I'll go back to what Andy said about pound for pound in the country. When I saw that question, I thought, obviously not. And then I thought about it and I thought, actually, who's better? And I really struggle to think. You just did, because it's Sonny Edwards, you don't automatically assume, oh yeah, he's the best pound for pound fighter Britain has to offer. But who's better then? Because I struggle to think of anyone.
Fury's better than him. More proven, more.
No.
You don't think so?
Proven?
You don't think Fury's more proven than Ed? I mean, Fury's best wins are Klitschko and Wilder, and Edwards' best wins against the guy that was, old and he was old.
That's a fair point. I don't want to get it into a Fury debate, but okay. I just think Sonny Edwards has got more ring skill. But yeah, I mean, Fury's Fury. We all know he's a talented, great boxer, don't we? But
you think he's got more skill than Fury?
We're talking current pound for pound number one, by the way, aren't we?
Yeah.
So
you think he's got more skill than Fury?
At this current time, I think, yeah.
I don't know about that.
Carl, who do you put as pound for pound number one?
Tyson Fury. But I still think Sonny Edwards is a more skilled fighter.
Do you just think it is that Sonny Edwards has got to fight the big names in his division first before he can?
Yeah, I think it's slightly unfair on Sonny Edwards because his promotional part of his career has been an absolute disaster. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
So I think if you ask this question again in 12 months' time, it'll be people won't raise their eyebrows so much because he's got his own behind him now.
It's a fair point because he hasn't got the names on his resume, so it is a fair point to say that. Ben.
Yeah, like I said, Lee, in 12 months' time, it might be a different conversation because now he's got the DAZN machine behind him. He's going to get them big fights. I agree with Lee regarding the Bam Rodriguez. I think Sonny Edwards beats him. I think he'll frustrate the life out of him over 12 rounds. And you can't hit what you can't see. I think he's that skilled. So yeah, I'll go Fury pound for pound, but I think Sonny Edwards is the more skilled of the two fighters. I think Tyson Fury is very different now, but almost seek and destroy a little bit.
Yeah, but Fury's more versatile.
Joe in the sidebars put someone get Imran the smelling salts. He's in shock. I think he's in shock from the comments that we've made about Sonny Edwards being pound for pound number one. Daz, same question to you. Does he beat Bam and is he pound for pound number one?
Yeah, he beats Bam easily for me as well. I actually thought Bam up until weekend. I had Josh Taylor as pound for pound number one. And obviously he beat Lopez, he'd still be in there. It's between Fury and Sonny for me. It is. Yeah, I mean, I just can't put anyone else to challenge either of them two.
It's a sorry state of affairs, though, isn't it, with British boxing when it's that, when you haven't got a pool of names to choose from, and we're debating between two people where weight categories apart.
Yeah,
and I'd say 5 years ago, this would have been a difficult conversation.
Yeah, I'd throw Lee Wood's name in, but
that's what I was going to say.
Lee will get upset.
I was going to say. I mean, Lee Wood's more accomplished than Edwards. I mean,
Whoa.
he
I
is
just
though.
think you've got to look at opportunity though, in man, haven't you? You can only fight
But
what's
is
put
he
in
more
front of you.
accomplished? Is he more accomplished?
What?
Has he
As
beat better
a
fighters?
boxer?
Imran, the question isn't who's won the most. The question
Yeah,
is
pound for
the question is who's the best fighter.
Yeah, but the
It's not
best
level of
fighter
opponent.
pound for pound means who you fought as well.
No, it doesn't. Not necessarily.
So-
Not necessarily.
So how can a fighter be best pound for pound just on skill if he hasn't been tested against the best? Lee Wood
Well,
just beat
then-
Lara, who was
Then
a
maybe
killer.
the argument that Carl put that in a year's
Yeah.
time, when he has fought the two world champions, maybe then we come back and we redress it. But on pure skill, I don't think anybody apart from Fury comes even close to Edwards. I mean, we've all said the same two names, so it's just a case of, can you look past the fact that Edwards has been with a shit promoter and had to fight all of his fights away from the UK, or most of them, in recent times against the big names? They've all been in Saudi, where no one's watching him.
Well, they've not been able to attract the big names, have they, Andy? That's the problem.
But no, being under Probellum and come on, let's have it right. It stunk the place out. It never had anyone in the crowd.
It's like
No
being
one
at
was
St.
watching- no one
Mary's.
was watching them on TV.
Yeah, it's not far off. You're not far wrong there, mate, to be fair.
Tough. It's just tough. Yeah, tough. I think I'm of the same opinion as the other lads in that Sonny Edwards beats Bam, and he beats Martinez as well, and then he moves up and he's got, was it Chocolatito and Estrada in the next division up?
Yeah.
I mean, wow.
Hero getting on.
Yeah, I mean,
both
yeah,
getting on, but the more levels that Sonny moves up,
Yeah.
harder he'll find it because of his punch power not being there. He find it more difficult to keep people off. But I don't think he loses against anybody in this weight division. That's my opinion.
The biggest threat to him up at bantamweight has now gone up.
Yeah, he knew it.
The division he's in now is harder for him than if he was to move up, in my opinion.
Yeah, Chocolatito and Estrada, mate. They've got Zimmer frames, aren't they, practically?
Yeah.
They're still warriors, though, aren't they, Daz? They're still warriors.
But it's like, it's not exactly Chocolatito 5 years ago, even, is it?
Look at Golovkin. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He says he's a warrior, but when it's gone, it's gone.
Yeah.
Okay, just moving swiftly on, guys. We'll talk about Josh Taylor, Teofimo Lopez now. Not many of us called this. I don't think any of us did. Did anyone say Lopez?
I don't think so.
I mean, I don't know where he pulled that performance from, if I'm being completely honest.
I think if I'm honest, mate, I think we all bullshit that he was spouting, and his performance against Cambosos, I think we forgot how good he were.
Yeah.
Well, we forgot how good he could be, Daz. The problem is he's so inconsistent, and that's all his mindset. That's all that's going on outside the ring.
Yeah, he's inconsistent in his head and the things he comes out with. I mean, you'd think he would just come out an asylum with some of the things he comes out with.
Although Josh Taylor said there's nothing there, didn't he? So he needs to step up to 147 now.
But then his trainer said he's got best strength and conditioning business, and he had a fantastic training camp.
So Carl, just on that, he said exactly the same thing against Cattrall.
Yeah.
I've got nothing left. I'm moving up.
But it is time to move up, isn't it?
The same weight.
It is time for him to move up, though.
I mean, he's moving up into a proper shitstorm, though, isn't he?
Yeah.
A proper shitstorm.
Kind of, but kind of not, if you think about it, because they're unlikely to let that fight be for undisputed twice, are they? If there's a rematch, you'd like to think that maybe, let's say he moves up a weight category, he's probably going to have a tune-up fight come towards the end of the year where they might have had their rematch by then. But once that undisputed is out of the way, those belts are going to fragment. So it actually might give it a year. It might be not a bad time.
No, he could pick a world title up, but if he's moving up to welterweight, surely he's moving up to fight Crawford, to fight
He's
Spence.
moving up for the money into to fight the big names.
You know, you can't move up.
I think he'd have one up there before he
You
fought one of
can't,
them.
yeah, he's going to have a fight, but you can't move up to welterweight. And I don't think it's in Josh Taylor's makeup to not want to fight Crawford and Spence. You know,
They're two bad defeats, so aren't they?
They're not interested in it though.
you know,
Sorry,
Josh-
man.
Crawford's trainer said that we don't want to fight Josh Taylor. I mean, he's just he goes, he's had 2 poor performances. He goes, we're not interested in that fight. I just saw Bomac say that in an interview.
well, it's
So
not going to be
I-
because they're fighting.
Bring nothing to the table.
Yeah, but like I mean, Lee just said, if he gets something to bring to the table, then they're gonna, you know, even a good performance brings something to the table. You know, if he moves up and fights a top 5, you know, top 7 guy and dismantles him,
I think he's gone.
I think, well,
I think
to be
he's gone. Whether it's motivation or something's gone, and I don't think
I
he can
just-
get back.
I just think, and I'm guilty of it. I just think I forgot how good Lopez really was. You know, and you judge him on Cambosis, and it was like, I think he had a bit of Andy Ruiz about him in that fight. To be fair, just thought he had to turn up to win.
I've been a massive advocate of Josh Taylor for many, many years. Carl will tell you, I've been banging on about him forever. I don't know whether the motivation is still there for Josh Taylor. He's had 2 performances now where fighters have asked him questions and he hasn't been able to answer them.
Earned a lot of money.
I'm not sure whether he's got it still. And
Well,
that's
I've got to jump off, guys. I'll catch you later on.
Cheers, Lee.
I know that's a big statement, lads. I appreciate that, and it'll get frowned upon by a lot of people. But it's just a question. I'm just putting it out there. He showed nothing against Lopez that told me he had anything left in him deep down to dig in. And he showed nothing against Cattrall when he was losing to make me think he could do the same.
I mean, digging in. I mean, it's all right. I mean, let's be honest. Teofimo Lopez is quality, mate. You know.
Yeah, of course, mate.
You know, I mean,
of course. But
you
Josh
don't
Taylor,
think-
the very best Josh Taylor, the very best Josh Taylor would have won because he would have.
I don't think the very best Josh Taylor beats the best Lopez.
No.
Not at
He
all.
would have found a way, in my opinion.
No,
Hindsight's a great thing, isn't it?
After 3 rounds, lads. After 3 rounds, he had nothing. Lopez was fighting a Panther at times.
I think it's your silk pajamas scenario. I do.
I just think Lopez is. We forgot how good he were. I mean, if someone were going to find a way to beat Lopez, mate, Lomachenko couldn't do it.
Yeah.
You're making a good point.
Lomachenko couldn't find a way, and he's a bit, you know. I mean, listen, don't get me wrong, I rate Josh Taylor.
Cole just said it there. Cambosis beat him, but this is why.
I think that proves that what Lopez was saying afterwards, you know, and other people, that he just thought he had to turn up.
Yeah, well, that's that's not an elite fighter, then, is it? Does
no, it's not
that's
an elite fighter's mentality, mate. But I think you've got to say that he is up there.
I'm telling you, someone who gives him a fight.
He's only up there when he wants it. The problem is you can't do that at world level.
No, but you're still an elite fighter.
Progress will give him a fight, does.
You got mate?
Regis Progress will give him a fight.
Mate, Regis Progress beat Josh Taylor, arguably.
I rate him.
Yeah, I thought that was close. I thought that was a draw.
Was a close fight.
Progress arguably beat Josh Taylor. I said it. That's either a draw or a point either way. I won't argue.
Yeah, it was close.
You can't. You know, Lopez is not a very likable person on outside, which some of the things he comes out with. But let's just look at him in ring. You know, he listen. I mean, he nearly stopped Taylor.
Yeah.
In last round, you know, the guy hits hard. Do you know what I mean? And he's skillful. He's fast.
I know, but Taylor's dead at the weight, does. There's no other way of saying it.
Yeah. Yeah, but Taylor looked massive compared to Lopez to me. Taylor looked bigger than Lopez.
But he looked
Nah.
awful at the weight, didn't he? He looked
Right,
awful.
if you did it the
Yeah,
weight
and
though,
I
right?
mean,
If you did it the weight, don't fight at it.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah,
problem, isn't it?
Don't fight at it. You know what he should have done is, and this is why I think it's bollocks, mate, about him being dead at weight. If I'm totally honest, I think it's just an excuse. He said he was dead at weight after Catrol.
He did.
Move up.
Yeah.
Don't go in with someone who is you know, let's be right, probably more dangerous than Catrol. Carries more power.
I'll tell you what it is, Daz. Taylor thought Lopez, he's coming up. He's had a couple of poor performances. I'm going to be massive compared to him. I'll bully him in this fight. And it was the opposite way. That would have been his mindset. I'm absolutely sure of it.
Yeah, but then he's made a boo-boo, hasn't he?
He's
got some work to do though, hasn't he? At 147 to get a decent. He's got to have a few fights because people are looking at him now, going. What he's got to do.
Sorry, Cole.
2 shit performances at 140. Why? A bit like the trainer says. Why are we going to jump in with him if we're at the elite part of that?
What he's got to do, he's got to have an absolutely outstanding performance against.
Or go get a belt.
That's what he's got to do. He's got to. I mean, I tell you, who would be a really good shout. Although he's a killer, and that's Avanesian.
I'd go get Ugas.
No, I think he'd muller Avanesian, mate. I think.
I'm
not convinced he would, Daz.
No,
I think Ugas.
I think
is
Ugas
a gatekeeper.
Ugas.
Yeah, he's a gatekeeper, isn't he?
Yeah, I think Ugas.
But he can't just beat him. He's got to look really, really, really good if he's got any chance of getting a fight against a Crawford.
Yeah, I just think Lopez. You know, like I say, I think we forgot how good Lopez were, and I think Lopez against Cambo. I think if Lopez fought Cambosis again, you know, he beats him handily.
Seeing as though we're talking about Crawford and we're talking about the welterweight division, let's talk a little bit about the press conference that went off yesterday. Was it?
Well, with both coasts want it, so they did yesterday or the day before.
So I've seen some comments by some very intelligent boxing people.
I've not said no.
Over the last couple of days, people that have got a lot of respect in the boxing, and a couple of them have picked up on Errol Spencer's speech and how he seems a little bit slurry and a little bit punch drunk's probably the wrong word, but a little bit like what's going on there kind of scenario.
I don't bit like that Saturday night.
Yeah, I don't buy into all this, mate.
No.
He might be tired.
Yeah.
You know, he might be tired. He might not have slept great, and he might be bored of it all. He might just want to get ring. He might, you know. I just think sometimes some people clutch at straws, mate.
Yeah.
You know,
and they're probably doing it to get to Errol Spence because it'll be fed back to camp, and you know it might be little dark arts.
Yeah.
Going on.
Maybe.
Yeah, I just
Imran, I know. Sorry, Daz. Imran, I know that over the years, this has been a division that you've concentrated on quite a lot, and you've obviously been calling for this fight for a long time.
Yeah.
Break the fight down for me, mate. Tell me how you think it goes. I know it's very difficult to call this.
I think, you know, at this point, it's so hard to call because both of them been so inactive. And Spencer's gone through so much in his life in terms of the car crash. Then he came back and then he had his eye. And then obviously the thing is with Spence, he's kind of like a miracle man because, I mean, he comes back and then he smashes people to bits, even though he's gone through so much. I mean, what he did to Ugas was scary. I mean, and I thought Ugas was doing well in that fight. And then he just turned it up and he absolutely obliterated him and rearranged his face. I mean, so look, the smart money would be on Crawford. He's the favorite in the fight. He's a lot more versatile. He's got a lot more tools. But there's something about Spence that I don't know. Like, he's very dangerous. He's a very good pressure fighter, very skilled. He's got a great jab. He's bigger than Crawford. I think he's also very, very tough, and he has got that will. I don't know. It's a very, very tricky one. I say Crawford probably wins, but I wouldn't be surprised if Spence breaks him. I wouldn't be surprised if Spence is just too strong and he's just too strong for him. It's one of those fights where, because of the inactivity, because of how good both those guys are, it's a hard one to call. It's a bit like it's proper 50-50. And that's why we've all been calling for this fight for so long, because it just splits opinion. We don't know who's going to win, and that's what makes it interesting. And that's why this fight hopefully should do well for them on box office.
Does?
I wouldn't say that Crawford's got more tools than Spence. I think they've both got a good tool set in different ways. I've said it all along. I think Spencer's going to be too big and powerful in end for him. He's not just big and powerful. He's good as well. He's fast. He's good. Do you know what I mean? I just think he's going to be too much in end for him. Too big and powerful. I'm not saying he'll stop him, but I think he'll just overwhelm him at some point, put him a bit on back foot, and just probably sneak out a late stoppage points with maybe.
Cole?
I'm going to give a bit of an Andy answer here. I honestly can't call it at the minute. I keep changing my mind. 1 minute I think, no, Spence is far too big and he's going to bully him. And then I think, well, no, Crawford's obviously talented and can fight off the back foot. And so you have to come back to me on this one, because I'm going to have to wait for the build-up and get a sense of how they're looking fight week, etc., because there's a lot of question marks, like Imran said about Spence. People write him off because he can't accident. But look what he done to Ugas. And Ugas, at that time, was in a rich vein of form, wasn't he?
Yeah.
So it was even more impressive. I'm a big fan of Spence. We watched him at Bramall Lane. His coming out fight, Andy, didn't we, against Brook?
Yeah, it was devastating.
If I have to put my nuts on the line, I'm leaning towards Spence at the minute. I don't see him stopping Crawford. I think it will go to a point. Moving force at the minute is it goes to a points decision, and Spence will take it on points. And then there'll be a rematch.
I think they'll have definite three fights for these two, I think.
I hope it's that close that we get trilogy. We get a trilogy, because this area needs one. It hasn't.
And the great thing is, it's on the weekend when my wife's away on holiday and I'm left at home. So
we all coming around to you, man.
All round calls then.
All round calls.
Don't be posting me. Don't be posting me just in the chat bar.
I'm sure Carl will let you have the spare bed or the settee, does.
No, the way you two talk, you can get in together.
So I gave a shocking opinion of this fight last week, and Daz spat his drink out.
Why? What did you say?
Is that memorable?
I said Crawford was. I said this won't be popular, but I think Crawford destroys him. That's what I said.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
I'm changing it a little bit. I still think Crawford wins the fight. I'm changing it a little bit. I was actually surprised at how big the size difference was.
Mate,
I know Crawford's confident, so I know that, but I didn't think the size difference was as big as it was. But it is. Yeah, that is going to play a big part in the latter part of the fight if it goes to that stage.
Spence is a natural welter, isn't he?
Yeah.
Crawford.
I still have something in the back of my head though that makes me think Spence is not the same fighter that he was. I know he did what he did to Ugas, right? Ugas is not Crawford. He's not even in the same league as Crawford.
Good fighter.
He's got this ability to work fighters out and pull something out of nowhere. Not the other fights where he's been losing, but he's been coasting fights, and all of a sudden he's been watching patterns, he's been watching movement, and all of a sudden, bang! And I just think it might be a perfect storm for Crawford. I think you might see
But Spence is
End
capable
of-
of doing that as well.
You might see the end of the Spence that everybody's loved all these years.
But
I'm
you
not
also,
convinced it's the same fighter. That's my
you
opinion.
also might see Spence reborn.
Yeah, maybe, but I'm just giving my opinion.
Yeah, I agree.
Crawford had better hope that Spence is as good as he was, or he's in
Well,
banging trouble.
Even if Spence is, then it's a very, very close fight. My opinion is right at this point in time. I might change my mind when the fight comes about, but right at this point in time, there's something in the back of my mind that says Spence is not the same fighter, and if he isn't the same fighter, Crawford is. They both have been elite in the time, and if they were both still at the elite level, both of them, it's a very, very close fight, and I'd love to see trilogies. I hope Spence is still at that level. There's something telling me that he's not.
Do you know if like here's a bit of a scenario? If Spence is not what he was, he's still quick, he's still gonna land. Do you know what I mean? And he's still.
If he's not what he does, if he's not what he was.
No, but what I'm saying is, if Spence isn't what he was, but he's still powerful, he's still fast. Yeah. So if he lands flush, he could still pull it out.
Yeah. Oh yeah, without a doubt, mate.
Right. If Crawford's not what he was, he gets destroyed.
Yep.
He gets bashed up.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And I don't think
Crawford's got the power. He'll get bullied.
Yeah.
It's not as good as he was.
Yeah. I don't think Crawford's got the power to end that fight or have Spence banging trouble.
Of the two fighters, I would say that Spence is further down the line of being past his best. And a lot of that is to do with the accident and what's led on from that.
But
that's like I say again. That's just my opinion.
But if you have lasting effects from that crash, do you do what he did to Ugas?
Potentially not, but that could have been that could have been his swan song of being at that level. I'll say that Ugas isn't Crawford.
No, of course he's not.
Well,
but he's not a bad fighter.
There's other people in that division that beat Ugas, though, in my opinion. So that's the point I'm making. Ugas is world level. These two are elite.
Who beats Ugas?
Let's not forget Crawford stopped Porter as well in his last fight.
Yeah, Porter's nowhere near the fight.
No, Porter's thingy. Porter is shot to bits.
Ennis Ortiz Jr.
Listen. I'm glad you've mentioned that because I was just about to come out with it. Jaron Ennis beats them all.
Yeah, I agree.
I've said this
right now.
Yes,
I agree with that.
Do you think that Ennis beats Spencer Crawford right now?
Yeah. Jaron Ennis is a monster.
Yeah, I know. He's getting that way, Dennis. He's getting that way. Again, you could point. But hold on a minute. I know that. I get that. He's got all the skill. Get that.
Nobody wants him.
Who's he been in with?
Well, no one will get in with him.
No.
That's why.
But you've got to prove yourself, haven't you?
Yeah, I think he'll come through it with flying colours. I think he beats them all.
The proof's in the pudding, and eventually he'll be the dominant force in the division without a shadow of a doubt.
They're gonna have to fight him at some point. I mean, he's an absolute monster, mate. He's ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. That lad could, for me. Last time I got excited about a fighter as much as that was Miguel Cotto when I watched him in Olympics.
The problem you've got though is why who's he being promoted by that's not allowing him, that's not unleashing him on these fighters?
He's only 25 as well.
Yeah, I didn't think he was that old though. I thought he was about 24.
25, but he has been in with that world-class opponent that Conor Benn fought, Chris Van Heerden. So there you go, you can measure that.
Yeah. I don't know, mate. I just think it's a lot to do with people not wanting to fight him as well. I mean, he's dangerous. He's absolutely dangerous.
He needs a promoter that believes in him, then, don't they? And that will pay the money.
I don't see how anyone can't believe in him. I mean, I tell you, has he got up lined up next?
He's IBF interim world champion at the minute, so he's going to get his shot eventually.
Yeah. I mean, maybe him v Ugas or Avanesian, maybe. but you know, would you? I don't know, me. I don't know if I'd want to be putting anyone in against him.
If the money's right.
Yeah, money's right, mate. But
This is the point I'm making is if he was
Hello?
promoted by,
Man?
okay,
Conor
I'll put it
Ben.
like this.
Who?
If he was
Conor
promoted
Ben
by
called him
Eddie Hearn, sorry, Imran.
Conor Ben's called out Joran Ennis.
Yeah, well,
He
that's a
said,
joke. It's okay to be calling out a fighter when you ain't got a license.
Please, Jaron Ennis, accept it. Please give him a license. Please, British Boxing Board, give him a license and allow
But
him
remember,
to
though,
fight.
his trajectory is like that, though. How did trajectory and dead like that?
Mate,
Innit?
mate,
The point
Mate,
I was just about, about to make.
that is the trajectory that he'll be taking when Jaron Ennis hits him.
Like that. Andy,
Yeah.
you say like his trajectory like that, innit, Andy?
The point
Like
I was
that.
just about. I'm not taking the bait. The point I was just about to make is if Ennis was promoted by Eddie Hearn, he would be fighting for world titles long before now. The promoters in America do absolutely nothing for their fighters.
I'm just having a quick look
No.
on Box Track.
It's promoted by a guy called Cameron Duncan. Dunkin. Never heard of him, to be honest.
So
why is Spencer and Crawford gonna fight Ennis? I mean, he's dangerous. He doesn't bring a lot to the table.
they're only going to they're only going to fight
dangerous.
him. They're only going to
He's
fight
too
him
good.
when they're forced to.
Mandatory.
Exactly, but this is what I mean. So it's not what can Ennis do? It's not his fault. He can't do much. The only way he's going to get that shot. So he can't. There's not much Ennis can do. But like, yeah, I think Ennis would be a problem for anybody. Not just at 147, but at 154. I think he could beat. He might even be able to clean out 154. He's that good. I haven't seen a talented fighter like this. I mean, probably since Roy Jones, he's that good. I mean, he's ridiculous. And I'm not high. I'm a bit like what you just said there, Andy, about resume. You know how I always say resume. But for this kid, I think he's that good that just goes out the window because you can just see how good he is. I mean, he can fight in both. He's just ridiculous fighter. He's ridiculous. Power, speed. It's just it's scary. I think he puts a beating on virtually every welterweight, and then at 154, I think he does serious damage. I mean, he might even beat everybody at light middleweight, including Charlo.
He's got years to move up, Ante. He don't need to be doing anything anytime soon. You know, he could have another 3 or 4 years at welterweight before he even considers it.
Why move up? It's a stellar division if you can get the fights.
Yeah, but if you clear out the division, Carl, why hang around? You might as well go and
And who's coming up? The legend Conor Ben's in that division. You know, you might want to.
No comment.
That's a big payday, though, isn't it? That's
Say
a
again.
big payday. That's a big payday for Ennis.
That's what I'm saying.
But is Ben actually serious though? Like Darren said, is he actually serious, or is he just talking? Because Ben's called out everyone.
Trying to stay relevant in running.
Imran, from a commercial perspective, it'd be a great way to introduce Ennis to the UK fight scene, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but that's what I mean. But I mean, Ennis would take that fight in a heartbeat. We know that. But is Ben serious? Like I would love to see that. I would love to see that.
It's a step down for Ennis. That.
Come on, guys. Let's have it right. There's not a chance in hell.
If the money's right, Dad, he'll take that step down.
There's no way they're going to put Conor Ben in there.
Lads, we're talking about the best promoter in boxing. There's not a chance that Eddie Hearn is going to let Ennis anywhere near Conor Ben.
No, of course he's not.
It just isn't going to happen, is it? Come on.
No, because he loses.
There's going off subject a little bit. I think we've done this now. There's one little topic I just wanted to raise with you and get your opinions on. Have you all seen the Chris Eubanks Senior interview from TalkSport?
Yes.
Yeah.
No, I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
So I'll come to you, Imran.
It's really sad viewing, if I'm honest with you.
Yeah. I don't think he's in the dire position mentally that he was a short while ago. But very interesting the way he spoke about Junior. And well, maybe it's a little bit of sour grapes because he's no longer in the camp, and Junior said he wants to be his own man and he wants to manage his own career and all that. But when Simon Jordan called Eubanks Jr. a charlatan, and Eubanks Sr. didn't back him up, I had to replay it to believe what I was hearing. I was absolutely gobsmacked. There's no other word for it. I can't believe, even if he's not in his son's training team, I can't believe he's allowed that to go and not.
I can't believe Talk Sport have aired it, if I'm honest with you.
I can.
Yeah.
I can, because that's what Simon Jordan's all about, mate.
I mean,
he's about being confrontational.
I mean,
I understand it happening live, because you can't control that, really, can you, going out live? But then to clip it and put it onto YouTube afterwards is a little bit much for me.
I mean, this Simon Jordan, to me, I'm not his biggest fan, if I'm honest. You just seem like you're there to cause a bit of bother, stir the pot, be confrontational, just for your own gain, maybe. You know what I mean? I might be wrong.
He's quite knowledgeable. He's quite knowledgeable, Daz, when it comes to boxing. He does know. He dances
on the line, don't he? He dances on the line of being controversial.
He asks questions of people and to the faces, fighters, promoters, British Boxing Board of Control. He's asked them all questions that everyone else wants to ask but won't. So he does that, and you got to respect him for that. But with Senior, I just thought it was a little bit bad taste, knowing where the guy's been and what kind of position he's been in recent times. Imran, just give me your opinion of the. Firstly, how you think the interview went and should it have happened?
I think personally, I don't think he was in that bad a place. I think he was answering the question. I think he's upset, obviously, that he's no longer in Eubanks' corner, and I think he's been hurt by that letter that his son sent him. So I think he's really, really hurt. But the thing is, that's your son. You don't go on national radio and then let someone say that about your son and just say, "Yeah, I agree." It doesn't matter. Even if your son's a criminal, Eubanks not a criminal. I mean, you still back your son. That's your son. I mean, and the fact
do you not think though? Sorry, man. Do you not think though that Eubanks Senior probably should have been dishonest about Junior a long time ago, getting him the kick up arse and wake up call a long time ago?
I'm not sure you do it in the public space.
No, do it in private.
Yeah,
do it in private, because to be fair, one of the biggest problems in Junior's career is him trying to be his dad.
Yeah, I mean, I'll give you an example. I think Andy's the biggest knobhead going, but obviously on the show, I play like I like him a little bit. Sometimes you got to put, even if you're furious behind the scenes, you got to put that front on.
Yeah, you got to put a front up, haven't you? You got to put a front up.
Yeah, you're a dick and all, mate.
Yeah. So is that it, Andy? We're bringing it to an end now on that happy note.
Before you shut us down, mate, give us your opinion of the Eubanks situation.
Well, I've gave you one already where I don't think it should have happened. I definitely don't think they should have clipped it up afterwards and put it on the YouTube. It smacks of clickbait for me, if I'm honest with you. Obviously, I would never act that way about the kids, my kids. Very strange, but I just felt like they were poking the hornet's nest. They knew there was
weren't they? And the question that it wasn't a question actually. Eubank actually offered the statement, and that was that his son's being trained by fitness instructors. I think he put.
I just think it was in bad taste. That's the only thing I can say.
I thought Roy Jones was training him.
Yeah, he is. He is.
With David A.
David A's apparently in
training
there.
him as well.
He threw David A under the bus as well.
Yeah, I was about to say that. So he commented that David A had rang him and said that Eubank wasn't sparring. He wasn't giving it all in training.
He's got yes men around him.
Yeah. Yeah, but
That
then
makes-
Eubank Senior did go in on Ronnie Davis a little bit by saying he used to just sing to me in the gym, and I went words to the effect of that it was my game plan when I fought.
Yeah, like
So-
he kind of made out that Ronnie Davis didn't really train him. He trained
Yeah.
himself.
Very strange. But he did say he
Ronnie
respected
Davis
him.
was just there as a bit of a. He didn't say cheerleader, but he was angling it that way.
But he did say he respected him, didn't he? In the
So he
next breath.
respected him for the role that he played in his career, but he didn't really train him. He trained himself.
I mean, if that's true, then phew,
If that is true, then that tells you why his son's done it all these years.
yeah. And also, what would Eubank have achieved had he been trained
Yeah,
properly?
well, exactly.
Regret though, isn't it? It's regret. If he's probably regretting it. But
Yeah, I look at Andy and have many regrets week after week, to be honest.
I do think he should have.
Yeah, I regret working with you to start with.
Think he should have given Junior some home truths a long time ago, though. Not let him follow the same path. But you know, it is what it is.
Anyway, I'm sure Ivan and Dad will understand this when I say we've got to bring it to a close. I've got to put up with Andy all night tomorrow in Rotherham.
Oh, you're in Rotherham, aren't you? Rob
so-
and Gaz are there. Rob and Gaz are there anyway. Nicola's there as well tomorrow.
Are Rob and Gaz training anyone?
No,
In
they're
front.
in. They're just out seconding, I think, helping out. But Nick's there with Ebony tomorrow.
Right.
She's sparring first, and then obviously she'll come home and get changed and then go.
Are you there, Dad, or are you not going?
No, mate, no, I'm not going. No, not been invited. Me, I don't get free tickets. But
Anyway,
yeah.
go on, you take us out then.
Great
Can I
show,
just-
guys.
Can I just say before you go?
Yep.
Obviously, I spent a lot of time in my past in Nottingham. You know, met some good lads,
Yeah.
some cracking lads. You know, it's a fantastic city, and I hope it's not judged on one dickhead's cowardly actions. You know, it's a great city, full of great people. Some people are classed as really, really close mates.
Cheers, Dad. Cheers. Oh,
And yeah, you're in there, mate. You're in there.
hello,
And I hope it pulls together, and which I'm sure it will. And my thoughts go out to families at victims, and I hope everything works out for best for everyone.
Yeah, I echo that, Darren. So let me just offer my commitment, like sympathies and empathy to friends and family of the victims. Like I said, it's a city that I love. I've put it inside. I've tweeted out about the events. What a very, very dark day for Nottingham. Very dark day.
I've seen it. I don't know whether you get Nottingham news on your local ITV channels, lads. There's been a vigil in the market square in Nottingham tonight. Thousands have turned up.
I think I've seen that. Yeah, I think I've seen it.
And the families of the victims have spoke about the kids and the fathers, obviously with the school caretaker being one of the victims. Yeah, devastating day for Nottingham. And I echo what Daz says. I hope that people don't kids that are wanting to go to university. Nottingham's got 3 world-class universities.
Fantastic universities.
Yeah, 3 world-class universities, and I just hope that the parents of kids that are coming through in the next few years don't sidestep Nottingham and think, "Oh, we're not sending our kids there because it's a terrible city." Because it's not.
It's not, mate. No, it's not.
It's not. It's a
It's
beautiful
not.
city.
Listen,
with lots of-
like I said, don't judge a place on one knobhead's actions.
Yeah,
You know.
absolutely,
It's-
absolutely does. Well said, mate. Well said.
And may they rest in peace.
Indeed.
Yeah. I hope,
On-
listen, I hope they get justice, mate. I hope they get justice. They'll never compensate for what they've lost.
No.
But we've got to try and stay strong and my thoughts go out to him.
Absolutely. On that note, thank you everybody for the comments in the sidebar tonight. There's been new people in there. It's always great stuff coming from the sidebar, the majority of it anyway. Thank you, Imran. Thank you, Lee, for joining. Daz, as always. I suppose I've got to thank Carl.
Yeah, you've got to do what you got to do, ain't you?
Yeah.
Well, you'd be nowhere without a talent, would you? So you need to thank me.
7 o'clock, guys, every Thursday. For people that are watching this for the first time, even if you didn't watch it live and you're watching it back on the recording, 7 o'clock every Thursday we do this show. It's always something different. There's always something to talk about. There's always a bit of banter, but it's always coming from the right places. We sometimes touch the lines a little bit, but we're always respectful. So if you fancy joining us on screen, please come and do so, and we'll see you next week.